Hello, this is Gary O'Sullivan, and welcome to this session of the System University. So you're new to the profession, I hear. Well, it's probably one of the reasons you're watching this video. Well, there's some exciting opportunities about this new career path you're on, but there's also a few things you're going to have to master. And we want to give you a good concept and a good understanding so that you'll have the right mindset as you're learning about this wonderful concept, which is selling pre-need, helping families secure peace of mind, protection, save money, make sure their wishes are known, and all the great things that helping families pre-plan accomplishes. So what are a few key things you need to know when you get started? Well, we're going to talk about that right here, right now on the System University. So the first thing we want you to know is that this is a profession, it's not just a job. So let's talk about what the difference is, that why we would say it's not a job. Now, this is not being disrespectful to any other profession, but there are different professions that require different levels of expertise. So in basic jobs, there's very little training that's required in many cases, and it's more of a labor type job that requires you doing things. Well, you're certainly going to have to do some things in this profession, but we want to put it in perspective for you so that you'll realize the things that you need to do. Because the things that you're going to need to do are going to be more of a mental struggle than a physical struggle for you. So we want you to keep that in context, and we really want you to be thinking about this business in the right way. Now, let me give you a couple of things to consider about the difference between a job and a profession. As we said, the job is generally more physical or is limited in the things that you have to do and the things you have to know to complete the task. In a profession, there's a lot more you need to learn and a lot more that you have to do psychologically to keep yourself doing this because it's such a mentally impacted profession. But you also have to keep into perspective about the things that you need to learn and when you need to learn them. If you've looked at the system, you realize there's a lot of videos on there. There's a lot of content for you to read. And you may be saying, oh man, how am I going to learn all this to start selling? Well, I got the good news for you. You're not. No, you're not going to learn it all right now. And the better news is you don't have to learn it all right now. But because it's a profession, over time, we want you to learn it all. But in the very beginning, we want you to learn the very basic, what we call survival skills. So your manager is going to be working with you in the early days of you entering this profession on very limited things. And you're going to be saying, hey, I want to know this, and I'd like to learn about that, and what about this? And well, what if somebody wants to buy that? Chill out. Okay? They'll help you with all that. You'll learn it all in due time. But if you don't learn the survival skills, you will not have an opportunity to learn all that other stuff. You know why? Because you won't be successful. And we want you to know that and make that clear right up front. So what are those basic survival skills? Prospecting, setting appointments, making presentations, and closing sales. Those are the 4 survival skills that you must learn. And you must really get good at those aspects. Now, you got to learn a few things in the process, yes, to know how to do all those things. But that's what we want you focused on. And that's how your manager is going to be working with you in the beginning as this process starts. Going back to the concept that it's a profession, there is a lot to learn. And you will learn that over time. I want to re-emphasize that point. But until you learn these survival skills, until you get good and understand about prospecting and how important it is, and until you understand how that you got to set a certain number of appointments every single day, because there's no catch up, there's no makeup. If you don't do it every day, you're going to fail. I'm sorry, but that's just the deal. I didn't make the rules, I'm just here to report them. So, that don't shoot the messenger thing should come into play here. And then you've got to know how to make an effective and compelling presentation. All of our presentations are built with the concept of allowing you to be the most professional, ethical, and caring person that you can when you're explaining this process to the families. And then you have to be able to close the sale. You have to be able to help families make a decision that they know they need to make, but they just don't want to make it. And so with your professionalism and ability to build trust in that relationship, you'll help influence them to make this decision to secure this protection for their family. And once you learn to do that, then all the other things will play into those different aspects of what you do. But until you learn that, you don't have a chance to succeed. Now, there's one thing for those of you that are new that we want you to know about this business. And it's what we call the one thing. That's pretty clever, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I kind of thought that up myself. Took me a long time, but I kind of landed on it. The one thing. Well, what is the one thing? The one thing is this, is that if you don't learn the prospecting script, if you don't learn the responses to the objections that we already know you're going to get. As a matter of fact, we wrote down the objection. This is talking about setting appointment now, not closing the sale. This isn't setting appointments because we're talking about your prospecting scripts. We already know what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you they're not interested. They're going to tell you they don't have any money. They're going to tell you all kinds, only about 5, 6, 7 things are they going to tell you. We know because we've been told it thousands and thousands of times. So we have written simple 1 and 2 line responses that allow you to know how to respond to that objection and go on forward and set that appointment. So the one thing is this, is that you must prospect the amount of time that your manager is telling you, or do the things that your manager is telling you to do every day to be able to set 2 pre-need appointments. You must set 2 pre-need appointments that you create, that you make happen. You have to set 2 of those a day, every day. And the reason you have to do it every day is because you got to have 2 set on Monday, 2 set, all during the week. You got to have 2 every day. Well, the only way you can do that is prospect every day. And if you don't, you'll get behind. And you say, oh, I'll make it up tomorrow. Listen to this. No, you won't. You won't make it up tomorrow. You can't, because other stuff's going to come and get in your way. So that's the reason you have to prospect every day, so that you keep that cycle going and you do the right things at the right time, so that you go into the new week with 3 to 5 appointments at a minimum, and you get those 10 set every week, and that cycle must happen. And the only way you can do that is prospect every day, because that's the one thing that's going to make you or break you in this business. People don't quit this business because they can't learn the presentation. People don't quit this business because they can't learn to close the sale. People don't quit this business for any other reason other than this one reason, which, by the way, you have control of. And that is, they don't get themselves in enough selling situations, pre-need selling situations that they create in a week. Pre-need selling situations that they create. Not if the doors are swinging and the phones are ringing. When that happens, when you take control and you don't wait for outside influences to happen, then you're going to make more appointments, you're going to be in more selling situations, and you're going to earn more money, and you're going to help more families secure peace of mind and protection and all those wonderful things, save money, all those wonderful things that pre-planning does for a family. So that's the one thing you have to remember. It's the one thing you have to accept, because it's the one thing that's going to make you or break you in this business. So prospecting must be a daily scheduled event, every day. And then there's the other one thing. You say, well, you said that was the one thing. Well, yeah, well, here's the other thing, because there's a other thing that's like one more of the other thing. I mean, it's different than the other thing, but it's tied to the one thing. But this is the other thing, not the one thing. This is everybody with me now? Are you following along? Okay, so here's the other thing. The other thing is you're going to face a lot of rejection, and you should be excited about that. You should be joyful when you get rejection. Now, again, we're talking about setting appointments. Why should you be joyful? Why should you be excited? Because of this one simple concept. And that's this: the greater the challenge, the greater the reward. Let me say that again. Those of you who are taking notes, this just may be noteworthy. The greater the challenge, the greater the reward. You see, if everybody you called set an appointment with you, you wouldn't have the commissions or the earning potential that you have. You know why? Because businesses wouldn't have to pay that much for skilled, competent people like you to be able to get that accomplished. People that are diligent and determined and are willing to grind it out. I mean, sometimes that's what it takes. You just got to grind it out to get the number of appointments that you needed. And so you have to go from rejection to rejection to rejection to rejection to rejection until finally you set that appointment. And so that's what you have to realize, because that's the other thing. If you can't deal with rejection, you will not do the things that you need to do, which is prospect on a consistent basis and go from door to door or phone call to phone call or from person to person at an event or whatever you're doing to prospect and obtain new leads and to be able to eventually set appointments. You won't be able to endure it long enough to get to the goal you need to accomplish. Now, it's available to you. It's out there. You just got, and it's, you know which one it is? I'll tell you which phone number it'll be. I'll tell you which door it'll be. I'll tell you which person it will be at the event that you're at the booth you're working, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I'll tell you exactly who it is. Ready? This is big stuff. It may be noteworthy. It's the next one. It's always the next one. Your job is to get to the next one. So let me encourage you that you are on a great, great path for your future. You, yes, and I do mean you, that's right, you. You are now in control of your destiny. You can now control your income. You have influence over that. And the higher your skill levels get, when you learn all that other stuff, and then you learn how to do a little bit better at this and a little bit better at that, guess what? You'll work the same amount of time, but you'll make like double the money. That's what happens in this business. So remember, this is not a job. It's a profession. It's a profession that you have a brand that you can represent in your community. It's a profession that has a proven selling system that you'll follow. It's a profession that has people that will coach you and mentor you and correct you and direct you if you are willing to be accountable to the process. It's a profession that really starts with one thing, and that one thing is to be able to always get yourself in as many selling situations that you create week in and week out, which is accomplished by daily, effective prospecting. And then, oh yeah, there's that other thing. It's rejection. But that's okay, because as long as they keep the rejection factor strong in the marketplace, your earning potential is going to be strong. And all you got to do is put up with a few no's. I mean, that's about it. And remember, it's always the next one. So with that, let me encourage you to do this. I want to encourage you to follow the system. Because if you will follow the system will lead you to success.